The Great Dominion, from glory to crisis and the hope for rebirth. Canada, once known as the Great Dominion, stood as a symbol of prosperity, equality, and opportunity. Its thriving manufacturing sector, world-renowned healthcare system, and reputation for fairness made it the envy of nations. Yet, today, many Canadians struggle to reconcile that proud legacy with the realities of skyrocketing housing costs, stagnant wages, and dwindling industries. The journey from glory to crisis is one marked by systemic failures, policy missteps, and misplaced priorities. But amid despair, there is hope, a growing call among Canadians to reclaim the promise of the Great Dominion and rise again. The rise and fall of Canada's manufacturing sector. In the mid-20th century, Canada's manufacturing industry was a cornerstone of the nation's economy. Cities like Hamilton, Windsor, and Oshawa thrived as hubs of auto and steel production, offering stable, well-paying jobs to generations of Canadians. However, the tides turned with the rise of globalization and trade agreements like the North American Free Trade Agreement, NAFTA. These deals, while promoting international commerce, often prioritized corporate profits over Canadian workers. Factories closed, jobs were outsourced, and once thriving industrial towns became shadows of their former selves. Compounding this issue was the lack of investment in new industries. While other nations embraced advanced manufacturing and technological innovation, Canada remained overly reliant on raw exports like oil, timber, and minerals. The absence of a national strategy to develop value-added industries left the economy vulnerable to global market shifts. The housing crisis and the vanishing Canadian dream. As manufacturing jobs disappeared, another crisis emerged: housing. In cities like Toronto and Vancouver, real estate became a speculative goldmine. Foreign investments and unchecked market practices drove housing prices to astronomical levels, leaving many Canadians unable to afford homes in their own cities. For millennials and young families, the Canadian dream of homeownership has become increasingly out of reach. Rent prices continue to soar, forcing many to live paycheck to paycheck, with little hope of building long-term stability. The government's response has been criticized as inadequate, with policies failing to address the root causes of the crisis. Meanwhile, large corporations and real estate developers reap the benefits, deepening the divide between the wealthy and the struggling. Economic inequality and political apathy. The erosion of stable jobs and the housing crisis have exacerbated economic inequality in Canada. Food bank usage is at record highs, even in regions known for their agricultural abundance. Rising costs for essentials like groceries, gas, and utilities leave many Canadians feeling trapped in a cycle of debt and despair. Successive governments, from both major political parties, have been criticized for prioritizing short-term economic gains over long-term solutions. Political gridlock, corporate lobbying, and a lack of bold vision have prevented meaningful progress. Yet, amid this frustration, a sense of unity and resilience is growing. The hope for rebirth. Despite the challenges, the spirit of the Great Dominion endures. Across the country, grassroots movements are emerging, demanding change and offering solutions. 1. Reclaiming manufacturing. Workers are advocating for policies that prioritize domestic production. There is a growing call for tariffs on imported goods and incentives to bring manufacturing jobs back to Canada. 2. Affordable housing reforms. Citizens are pushing for regulations on speculative real estate practices, higher taxes on foreign buyers, and investments in affordable housing projects. 3. Innovation and sustainability. Entrepreneurs and innovators are leading the charge in renewable energy, green technologies, and advanced manufacturing. These sectors represent not just economic opportunities but also a chance to redefine Canada's role in the global economy. 4. Grassroots movements. From farmer cooperatives to worker-owned businesses, Canadians are finding new ways to build local economies that prioritize people over profits. The path forward. The rebirth of the Great Dominion will not come from politicians alone, it will require a collective effort from all Canadians. It will take bold policies that prioritize workers, housing, and innovation. It will demand a renewed sense of community, where neighbors come together to rebuild and strengthen their towns and cities. Canada's challenges are significant, but so are its resources and its people. The country has the potential to rise again, not as a relic of past glory, but as a beacon of what can be achieved when a nation puts its citizens first. The maple leaf, long a symbol of unity and resilience, still flies high. And as Canadians look to the future, they carry with them the hope and determination to rebuild the Great Dominion, stronger and more inclusive than ever before.